Hello, welcome back to the show. As always, I'm your host, Chris Onos. Thank you for tuning in to the jury question. My guest today, she's not a person than Majella M Murphy. Hello, Majella. How are you today?
Hi, Chris. I'm great. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. I'm loving those frame you have at the back of your house. They're looking good.
Oh, thanks a million.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, Majella, let's get to meet you. Tell us about yourself, please. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm basically a grandmother and mother. Um, and what I do, I write some poetry and some songs. And that keeps me busy, especially during the lockdown, keeps my mental health good. And I started doing this about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago.
Hmm.
And my background is singing. It's always been music, really, Chris.
Hmm.
Um, my dad was in the music business for about 40 years, and
Wow.
so I get it from him. All my kids are musicians, so music really is my life.
Hmm. Well done there, Virginia. First, I want to say thank you for coming on the show. It's not easy for people like yourself to come on shows like this to really express their feelings or experience past and present life, career-wise. So thank you so much for being part of what we do. I just want to kind of dive into some of your stories and your experience. You're a mother of four kids. You're 54. I know you put a small article there about what you wear, how to be confident about it. I want to say fair play to you for your age. You're really
Yeah.
looking well, so keep it up. Um,
Thanks.
you you said you divorced. You were married for 33 years,
Mm.
and you divorced after 33 years. How is life for you?
Well, to be honest, I've had a very difficult, we'd say 4 years now. I got married very young, I was only 17 when I met my ex-husband, and, we settled down straight away, really. I had my first baby when I was 18 and
Mm,
got married on my 19th birthday. And,
wow.
we had a difficult start, back in the 80s, there was big stigma for, unmarried mothers at the time. And
Mm,
kind of, I had to practically run away from home, really, because otherwise I was going to be sent into the mother and baby home in Cork here, Besborough, the
yeah.
infamous Besborough. So I was lucky, really, that that didn't happen for me because I wouldn't have my daughter with me now.
Mm,
So we got married for my 19th birthday and settled down really in a flat and got our first house then in the north side of Cork City, and where we reared three more children. We had four children altogether, one girl and three boys, and we're very busy really for all our
mm,
lives raising our children and brought them up really with music in the foreground of our lives. Um, and we were there for 19 years in the north side, and we moved to the south side then after that. And where I was a singer with my ex-husband, we were up and down, all over the Munster really for 20 years in the
yeah.
music business with our two-piece band. We were called Two of a Kind, and I loved it, Chris.
Mm,
And very much into fashion now at the time. I looked after myself well, loved being a singer. We were kind of very much a function band where we did music from the 60s and 50s right up to the noughties. So we catered for every age group,
mm,
for a lot of birthday parties, and I loved it really, and we used to play in Cork City here in town. Larry Tompkins was a great place we used to play, and we used to do 3 hours non-stop music,
wow.
and everybody kind of loved us really, I loved interacting with our audience, and I loved having matching attire, making waistcoats to match because there was only two of us. I believed that
Yeah.
we had to match, look good. So basically, that's where my kind of sense of style came from. I just wear what I want.
Mm,
Um, I don't believe that anybody should have to grow old gracefully.
true.
I don't believe in aging gracefully. I believe that a person is as young as they feel. Um, I don't, I'm 54, 55 this year. I'm a grandmother. I don't feel old.
No, you shouldn't.
Um,
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
no, I
Well,
feel great,
but you
I
see,
feel great.
that is what I said at the very start of this conversations, to say that you look so well,
Thanks,
because you
Chris.
look after yourself and you're
Yeah,
happy with
try
yourself.
to.
You can put on
Yeah,
what you want. I mean, that's the way life's supposed to be for everybody.
yeah.
Majel, let me come back to yourself. From the start of this conversation, you say you were 18 when you kind
Mm,
of get your first child and you got married at the age of 19. Do you
yeah.
think do you think it was too early for you at that time? Do you think you didn't really do what you're supposed to do as a
Mm.
young or teenager at that time, or just mature to your adult?
Well, it is very young, Chris, I mean,
Hmm,
I wouldn't be telling a person, have your children young at that age, especially now. We're living in different times.
true.
Um, like my daughter was 30 having her first baby. She has two children now.
Hmm,
My son lives in Spain. He's 34 this year, and
hmm,
his daughter is almost two. My little
hmm,
granddaughter in Spain.
hmm.
Um, like it doesn't matter how old you are, having your children. Children are, a lifetime commitment. It's
True.
hard. It's hard raising children.
Yeah.
Um, your life changes,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't matter how old you are.
Mm.
If you're still very much a child yourself, having your children, um, it's very difficult. You need an awful lot of support.
Yeah, but
You,
that
you
is
know,
the
your
thing. That is
but
the thing.
then again, Chris, I mean, I grew up with my kids. I'm still young,
Mm,
and they grew up with me as well, and I'm a young grandmother. So there's for and against. But there were different times back then. Everybody seemed to be having children young when I
mm,
was having children young. So there are different times now.
true, true. Now I come back to yourself. So with you now, you've divorced. It's not a good thing that we say, oh, someone divorced.
Mm.
There's circumstances that could have arisen that could have made, things like that to kind of happen. So, is it a blame thing that you divorce, or is just because there is not happiness, um, you know, in all of the old beautiful marriage you guys had?
Mm. Um, you know, like the circumstances around our divorce are very difficult. It's very sad that
Yeah.
we had to divorce in the end.
Mm,
Um, we had a long marriage, and I mean, we tried to make it work, and the circumstances around our divorce were really an awful lot of it was to do with outside influences.
mm,
Um, and some of it happened because of friends that I had at the time
yeah.
were it was a bit of a slander going on about me and my ex-husband and our family, and it was all done online.
Mm,
There
okay.
was a bit of
Yeah.
bullying going on and stuff, so our family kind of didn't get over it,
Yeah.
and it kind of broke us apart really. I changed as well because of
Mm,
it, and there were circumstances went on are very public because I named and shamed those people, and they have to live with the consequences of that now. And I don't wish them bad, you know. But
can't blame you. Yeah.
people split up for all different reasons, Chris, and
Mm,
sometimes it's for the best, and you move on with your life, and
True.
you know, things. But like, I didn't ever think that I'd be on my own at this hour of my life,
Mm.
and it has been very difficult. It was very difficult trying to find a place to live.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that there was basically very little help for people on their own to try and start off again. Um, there's no the housing situation is awful at the moment.
Mm.
For a person like myself, after a breakup, you know, the council don't house you for 10 or 15 years if you've left your home
Mm.
for whatever reason, and there's nowhere to go. So I had to rely on my family to put me up. I was months living with my daughter
Mm.
and looking for a place to live. Um, you know, the private rental
Accommodation.
situation in
Yeah.
Ireland, they're all kind of geared for either students or
Hmm.
young working professionals.
Yeah.
It's impossible for a person of my age to rent um, a place, and the prices are
And
extortionate.
you can say it again. That's what one of the biggest problem we have in
Yeah,
society today. Renting is
yeah,
just sky and the roof. Major, let me come back to yourself and thank you once more again for really coming out to say this. And the reason we do most of the shows a lot of time to talk about this is to help other people who are likely to be going through the same kind of circumstances. So you coming out today to talk about it is to give hope, and because most people, I believe, from research we've done, we see people who say, okay, because of the kids, they want to be in the relationship, and that relationship is toxic. Like
mm,
you mentioned, you try to see how best you can make it work, but
mm,
still there's outside interference coming in. And once people from outside start coming in, it's very difficult for your relationship to actually work. So
mm,
that's a big, 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 big problem. So let me move back to your music. You said you're writing your own poetry now.
yeah.
What layout do you work around your poetry? Is it in relation to your past experience or what you're going through presently? Over to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of my poetry is based on um, my life experiences, really, um, and my whatever comes into my head, Chris, and the same
Mm,
with my music.
mm,
Um, like I never thought I'd be writing poetry or writing songs, particularly. So, like, if you get something into my, if I get something into my head, normally what the way it works for me, it doesn't go away until I either get it out in some
mm,
way, write it down, or put a few chords to it, or if I feel it's going to be a poem,
yeah,
I just type it into my phone, and
yeah,
that's the way it stays, you know. Um, it's just it just basically what's on my mind and the way it
yeah.
has to come out.
Mm.
Um, I know that a lot of people probably um, they probably would, if they had a gun, they'd probably use it on me at this stage now.
True.
It's but that's the way I express myself. It's
Yeah.
the way I choose to express myself through either my music or my poetry.
Mm.
Um, and I'll be honest with you, Chris, it has helped me enormously in
Very
my
good.
journey.
Mm,
It's therapy for me.
mm,
Like some people that have gone through what I've gone through would probably, and I wouldn't blame them, and I'm not judging them, Chris. They probably would
mm,
turn to drink or drugs or whatever way they choose to survive. It's
mm.
survival, right?
Eh,
I don't drink, and I very rarely take a drink. You know, I do take a drink very rarely because it's just I just not good at it. You know, I just can't handle alcohol. I'm useless
yeah.
at it. I get drunk too quick, but I mean, I don't smoke, so
Very
I've
good.
I turned to my poetry, I turned to my music,
Mm-hmm.
and it has helped me to cope with what I've
Mm,
gone through. Like I've been in the house sharing situations where I haven't been happy,
mm,
I've been miserable, and I didn't think I could go on. you
mm.
know, and I
Well,
have been very down and I haven't been well. And
mm,
it's through my expression and choosing to express myself and get it out. And I
yeah.
have gone for help, and I would urge people that are going through that right now and feeling that way right now to
Mm,
pick up their phone or to talk to somebody and
true.
get help for the way they're feeling, because trust me, it does work. It does
Mm,
work. You have to talk to somebody about the way you're feeling and get help, because it's like, choose life. You have only one short life, and
true.
live it, because it's worth it. It is worth it to stay
Mm.
alive and to get help, because it does get better. It really does get better.
It does. I was going to kind of ask you that, but before I come into that, but fair play to you, and what you said is really true. You can't stay alone in any circumstances you're going through. You have to reach out for help. There are people out there who can help you. And you sharing your message today, I believe a lot of people are going through these, and I've said it earlier on, people are going through a lot of stuff. So people like you will come out to talk, encourage other people to actually come out, to be able to speak out and writing what you think, what you feel, rather than keep it in there, because it causes a lot of depression, causes a lot
Mm.
of society, it causes a lot of things that you shouldn't. If you are seek out for help, definitely you could have overcome that. And you mentioned one thing that was so beautiful is you control the drink. You don't let the drink control you. You don't
Yeah,
smoke, so you don't
yeah,
take drugs. You don't take things to kind of calm you down. So, which is a good thing. So you've done so well by managing yourself through all of this process. So well done to you and bravo.
thanks,
Before
Chris.
we wrap things up, I have two few more questions I want to kind of wrap through with you. One of them is, how is your kids? No, who say your kids? Because they're all adult now. They all have families.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
they're they're great.
they're how are they taking everything right now? As still okay, mom and dad are not together. You
Mm.
know, is relationship balance in terms of, yes, mom and dad, they still are parents.
Yeah. Well, at the time, at the time of our breakup and our breakdown, it was difficult.
Hmm.
Because, like, I mean, I just left. I just walked out and I left, and I put all my stuff into the back of my car and I drove off. It was
Hmm.
the way I did it, I think, hurt my children. And
Okay.
I didn't leave my children because they were adults. I mean, they like, my daughter was already um, away from home. She already had her own relationship, and she
Okay.
had her child, and my
Very
son
good.
was already had his own relationship. So my two younger boys,
Hmm.
they were already in their twenties.
Okay.
Um,
That
with
is
their
fair.
dad. So
Yeah.
I left home. I left my husband, my
Hmm.
ex-husband.
Yeah.
I left him.
Hmm.
So it took a while for them to understand that, for my own mental health and for my own well-being, I
Hmm.
left my marriage, you know.
Hmm.
But it's the way I did it,
Oh,
because but it took a long time for me to kind of just break and go,
yeah. Yeah.
you know.
I think for me, I think you have a very good reason why you did it that way. Probably if they were young, probably you wouldn't have done it that way. But because they are adults, they're already on their own
Chris,
journey.
believe me, like, I'm very house proud. I had a
Mm,
beautiful home, and it takes an awful lot for a woman to leave her home.
true.
There was no violence, nothing
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's just
Very good. Mm,
emotional stuff. But, like, my kids and myself, like, I love them with all my
mm.
heart. I've always loved them. Like, we have a great relationship, and we love each other to bits. And
That's
they're
good.
fantastic. They're very, very talented. The whole lot of them. They're brilliant musicians,
Very
and
good.
and I'm very, very proud of them, and they're very proud of me. And it's a great thing to be able to say, Chris, that like, and we have a great relationship, and we always will, you know and
Mm.
like, I wasn't a perfect mother. There's no such thing as a perfect mother.
There's no
um,
perfect human being neither. So
we're all
you can.
we're all human, and
Very
I've made
true.
mistakes in the past, but there's one thing we can say, like, if you love your children and do the best you can for them,
Mm,
you'll get it back tenfold.
definitely, definitely. Right, Majella, look, before we wrap things up, we want to say, what kind of music? I know you mentioned that you'll be doing your album anytime soon. Um, and so what kind of music are you looking to cook to together?
Well, I just do my own things, I mean, I love
Mm,
all kinds of music, from Thin Lizzy, Philip Linus, down to, I love, absolutely adore Rory Gallagher.
very
Um,
good.
I love rock, pop, 60s. I love John Spillane.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love all kinds of music.
Mm.
I used to sing everything. We had to go to a party with all different age groups. I used to have to sing songs from Patsy Cline, from
Wow.
to Rihanna, you know,
Yeah.
and get from the pop stuff as well. And but I mean, I'm just writing stuff that's in my mind,
Mm.
So it's
Amazing.
all my own stuff. So I'm on YouTube,
Hmm.
I do all my own stuff there.
Very good.
So,
Very good.
but I'm hopeless at the guitar. I'm still trying to play it. I have a broken baby finger.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah, that makes it difficult to play. But sure,
Okay.
I'll struggle on, and maybe when I win the lotto, I'll pay bands to back me.
Remember me when you win the lottery. Remember me.
I
Nadila,
really
I want to say thank you so much for coming in. What is the name of your YouTube so that I can get people to go out there to kind of listen to yourself?
it's just Majella M Murphy, and don't forget the M in the middle. And
Okay.
I'm on SoundCloud, and I'm on Facebook, Majella M Murphy as well. Thanks so
Well,
much, Chris, for having me.
thank you so much, Majella, for coming on the show to
Thank you.
share your story with us. Before you go, Majella, what would be one last word you want to give to people out there, especially for women who might be going through the same thing like yourself?
Just hang in there. Um, Life gets better, and just reach out and talk to somebody if you're having a hard time. And if you're going through um, waiting for a place to live, hang in there too, and it'll happen for you as well.
Awesome.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Majella, thank you so much. We wish you best of luck in all you do. Keep
Thanks,
in
Chris.
touch. I know you're on my Facebook page as well, so I'll keep in touch with you. Let us know how you're getting on. We wish you all the best of luck to yourself and your family.
Cheers, Chris.
You're welcome. Okay, viewers at home, stay tuned for more of the show. We got so much coming your way. Our next show coming up is all about music. It's a whole lot more. Take it away. We'll be right back.